Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshudamilitan Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Manupeta Apeta Krityam Rapayano Vidaha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tan Maitaya Taravo Binedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Unimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Abhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshay Kiptashtakamari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanada Vindam Tave Vasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we begin by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Lita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Pada Asto Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, and Sri Guru Pada Padmanitya Lita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Pada Asto Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and unto our exalted Rupanuga Guru Varga. Today, Sunday, March 9th, 2025, just a few days away from Sri Gaur Purnima, appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are doing a Manasi Parikrama of Sri Navadwipa Dhama. And as the idea of doing this has been building up, it's been so a kind of unhappiness that we're not in that blessed place, that we don't have the qualification, the eligibility, that here we are in separation from Sri Dham Mayapur. It's great source of lamentation. And I'm looking at all the places and thinking, oh, I haven't been there for so long. I feel so terrible. But the Sankirtan parties today, they're going to Sri Antardwipa, and there they're going to see the Sri Chaitanya Gaudiya Mat, Sri Gaura Janmastan, the place of Mahaprabhu's birth, in Sri Mayapur, Srivas Angan, Advaita Bhavan, Sri Gadadhar Angan, Sri Chaitanya Mat, or Chandrasekhar Bhavan, the Samadhi Mandir of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Sri Gorkishodas Babaji Maharaj's Samadhi Mandir, Chankazi Samadhi. And there are many other places as well. Actually, when we leave from the Keshavji Gaudiya Mat down at the end of Koladweep, and we walk early in the morning, right after Mangalartik. Everybody starts walking in the dark towards town, then, passing Prodamaya, Vritashiva, all those areas. And we go down to the ghat where the boats are. Everybody pays their few rupees. We all go in, and large boats are waiting. And of course, there are thousands of people, and they're all very eager, and they're all pushing and pushing to get on the boats. And the boats get absolutely packed. Everybody wants to get on the very first boat, right? And so usually we have to post guards to keep people from overloading the boats, and then they go chug, 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 chug across the river. And on the other side, everyone's waiting. And this is down at the place where Ishodhan is. This was the garden area where Nandanacharya had his house, and this is where Nityananda Prabhu first came when he had arrived in Navadwipa, in Mayapur, preparing to meet with his dear brother Nimai for the first time in their Leela here. It's also where Advaitacharya was hiding when Mahaprabhu was performing his revelation to everyone, the 21 hours where he was revealing himself as the Yuga avatar, and Advaitacharya was there. Oh, if he really is my Lord, he'll know where I am and he'll call me. Right? So we spent some time in some large fields there while all the boats come, and then we walk up towards these places. And along the way, this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Marg, this road, there are many, many temples of the disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Very nice temples, actually, all of them wonderfully maintained, beautiful testaments to the devotion to their Guru Maharaj and to the importance of having a place of bhajan in Sridham Mayapur, or any of the islands, actually, but this island in particular. After some time, we come to the place of our Srila Prabhupada, which he was empowered to make into perhaps the grandest in terms of size and facility, a place which can accommodate pilgrims from all over the world. It's expanded enormously from the very first building. Even that first building, which seems so insignificant and small compared to everything else there at this time, when it was built, was the largest building in that area for a long, long time. It was considered quite amazing. It was a multi-story ashram and temple inside. Now it's all been expanded. There are so many residences and ashrams and offices and Srila Prabhupada's own samadhi, which was the largest, it just overwhelmed the, all the other constructions up until recently, when now the gigantic temple in honor of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being built. So it's quite glorious. The other mats are much smaller, but it's not the size, mat size. It's the fact that there's a place for worshiping and meditating with devotion on the holy names in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Panchatattva, Radha Krishna. Just wonderful, wonderful how Sridham Mayapur is becoming so prominent. So after passing ISKCON, we continue on, and I think what I'll do first is I'm going to read from the Sri Navadwipa Dhama Mahatmya of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because this is what we generally read when we're going from place to place. And before this, there's so much there. Jiva Goswami's going to Navadwipa, he's meeting with Nityananda Prabhu, his meeting with Vishnu Priya and Shachi Mata, so many extraordinary things that are described. But this part I'm going to read is chapter 4, Sri Jiva's inquiry concerning the tattva about Sri Navadwipa Dham. Now I won't read all the Bengali because I want to make sure that we can cover as much as possible. And there's no purport here. But when we go to the different places, one devotee will read the Bengali. It's very sweet. So, now, with care, Sri Nityananda Prabhu seated Jiva next to him. Jiva's a very young boy at this time, just a teenage boy, beautiful, filled with devotion, very eager to meet with Nityananda Prabhu. Mahaprabhu has disappeared at this time. Right? Jiva Goswami met him, sort of, when he was a very baby, just a little baby. He was offered to Mahaprabhu by his father and uncles, right? Anupam, Sanatan, Rupa. And Nityananda Prabhu was so happy to meet him. And again, as we mentioned, Vishnu Priya Devi felt so much love towards Jiva because Jiva had been accepted by Mahaprabhu as his son when Mahaprabhu had come to Ramakeli those years before as a sannyasi. And so Vishnu Priya said, "Oh, my dear master," who had been her husband, "has accepted you as a son. I accept you as my son." And on the order of Mother Shachi, she had cooked for them, for Nityananda Prabhu and Jiva, and also had spoken to him and told him so many wonderful things. Wonderful, wonderful things. Nobody experienced devotion and love for Mahaprabhu like Vishnu Priya. Her devotion was very unique and extraordinary. So, now Jiva Goswami is sitting with Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Jiva folded his hands and humbly said, "O Lord, please be merciful and describe in detail the true nature of Sri Navadwipa Dham." Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, "O Jiva, I will certainly tell you about this highly confidential topic, but you must keep it in your heart. For now, do not reveal this tattva here and there. At the close of the Lord's manifest pastimes, it will reveal itself naturally." Oh, wait a minute. Perhaps Mahaprabhu is still here? I thought he'd disappeared. But I guess not quite yet. Anyway, so this is confidential tattva, right? Confidential. So this Navadwipa is the essence of all holy abodes. After crossing the river Sri Viraja, Brahmadam, and so on, one comes to Vaikuntha. Beyond Vaikuntha is Shvetadweep, Sri Goloka. Above Sri Goloka is Krishnalok, Gokul, and Vrindavan. This abode, Sri Krishnaloka, manifests in two transcendental moods, or bhavs, that nourish ras: sweetness, madhurya, and munificence, audharya. So this is an important point now, because we always hear about Mahaprabhu's Leela. The prominent mood is audharya, which is munificence, right? Distribution, mercy. Right? Of course there's sweetness, but this is the predominant mood. He's come to give everything. And in Vrindavan, sweetness, madhurya. So Nityananda goes on to say, although audharya exists in full within madhurya, and madhurya exists in full within audharya, that section of Krishnalok in which madhurya predominates is known by fortunate persons as Vrindavan. And the section in which audharya predominates is called Sri Navadwipa Dham in all the Vedas. Now remember, we can understand this because what was the motivation for Krishna to descend into Vrindavan and display his pastimes with the gopis? There are two things. One, he wanted to relish this extraordinary sweetness with his beloved Brajadevis, and of course all the associates in Vrindavan. But he also wanted to put on a display for the benefit of the entire world and universe. So of course, Audarya is there. Because he wanted that seen and known and spoken and meditated on so that the world could aspire for this as their goal, as their prayojan. But of course, in the performance of those pastimes, mostly it was the sweetness of it. Krishna did not deliver so many persons personally there, and certainly not bringing people into the intimate pastimes with the gopis. Those who were qualified previously, who came to Vrindavan for that and perfected themselves, like the young Brajadevis who performed Katyani Vrat, some girls who came from other villages and got married, like that. But this was not his pastime was not to spread this. This was still confidential for the most part. But he put on the display, and as we heard in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he wanted to show this to the world. So Audarya is there, but Madhurya is prominent. But in Mahaprabhu's pastimes, certainly when we see the pastimes of boyhood, Nimai, so much sweetness is there. But Audarya, his desire to reveal the glory of Krishna in Vrindavan, and in the desire to reveal it, of course, in the meditation and all that, is the sweetness, but his mood is one of distribution, of giving. So, and that section of Krishna Loka in which Audarya predominates is called Sri Navadwipa Dhama. There is no difference between Vrindavan and Navadvip. They are distinguished only by ras. So the mood of those places, right? Influenced by Hladini Shakti, the living entities give up their material occupational duties and attain their real dharma on the strength of eternally perfected knowledge. Influenced by Hladini Shakti. Nityananda, what is Hladini Shakti? Hladini Shakti is that extraordinary energy of Srimati Radhika, that energy of love, that the highest expression of it, that transcendental Mahabhav, the love of Radha for Krishna, which gives pleasure to Krishna and also all the devotees. Everybody is infused. Our eternal identity is our eternal form, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Right? And so the purified living entity is also infused with this extraordinary energy of love, of Hladini Shakti. And so when that does indeed come into our heart, when the anarthas and everything are being removed, Shuddha Sattva Vishesha Ma Prema Suryangsha Samyabat Ruchibis Tritamasarnya Krid Aso Bhava Uchate. When it first manifests in that form of bhav, then our heart becomes softened by tastes, right? And three special desires. The desire to be with Krishna, to serve Radha and Krishna, right? Be in that place. The desire to anukul, to do that which is favorable for Krishna. Oh, right, to do everything that is favorable in devotion, and then ultimately sohard, abhilas, the desire to render very intimate service to Radha and Krishna, very high evolution and perfection in our evolution and devotion, right? So he says, influenced by Hladini Shakti, the living entities give up their material occupational duties, that dharma, and attain their real dharma on the strength of eternally perfected knowledge. Eternally perfected knowledge, that Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma has two components, the Hladini and Samvit. Samvit is the eternally perfected knowledge. I'm not this body. So the dharma of this body, the duties of this body, they're not my duties. My dharma is bhakti. right? So the combination of eternally perfected knowledge and the energy of that pure love, right? So Navadwipa in its entirety is a transcendental manifestation. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu performs his pastimes in this very Dham. With material eyes, people perceive this place to be like any other. This is because the illusory energy covers their eyes and hides the real eternal abode of the Lord. That's our unfortunate condition at this time. Nevertheless, going to these places, even conditioned souls like us, we can experience something different. If we're under guidance and we're humble and sincere and taking shelter of the holy name and of our gurus, the nature of the Dham gives us some indication, gives us some joy, some happiness, some realization of the higher reality of this place. In Sri Navadvipa, there is no mundane place or time that is influenced by Maya, and the Jivas here are not entangled in material illusion. However, being bound by his fruitive activities, the Jiva becomes controlled by illusion, by Maya, Mahamaya, and sees Sri Navadwipa Dham as a material place. Why are we hearing this right now in the beginning? Because before beginning Parikrama, we should know, at least in theory, the transcendental nature of this place and the caution not to fall into the trap of seeing it like any other material place, or even the inhabitants as being ordinary living entities. Don't relate Mayapur, Navadwipa, as an ordinary place. Don't make that mistake. He goes on, Nityananda Prabhu, when by good fortune, through the association of saintly persons, prema appears in a jiva, he will see Sri Navadwipa Dham as the manifest transcendental Vaikuntha Loka. Then he will always see with his own eyes all the transcendental components of the Dham, such as the land and time. So that unfolds for us gradually, step by step. But there may be a time when a spurti of that place comes into the heart, as Jiva is going to have many experiences like that. In the Jiva Dharma, we read the experiences of different personalities who see the Dham manifesting before them in its real form. Right? And like Brajanath and Vijay Kumar, like Sannyasi Thakur, like others, right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur relates stories like that as well. This is how he discovered the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. After searching in so many ways, looking out from his veranda across the Saraswati, the Jalangi River, to Antardwipa, over to the area we know as Mayapur, he saw a transcendental light gleaming and transcendental palaces and buildings, and heard the thunderous sound of extraordinary kirtan. And this went on for a prolonged time, and he knew what he was seeing was a manifestation of the celebrations of Mahaprabhu in this area. Srivas Angan and the kirtans that were going there, which is right next to his birthplace. And so, I have described the real truth of Navadwipa Dham in your presence, O Jiva. Being situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, please deliberate upon this tattva. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, desiring to attain the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Janava Devi, is revealing this confidential truth. Now reflect on this. What is this Sri Navadwipa Dhama Mahatmya? This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own revelation of his visions, traveling around the 32 kroshas of Sri Navadwipa Dham, he himself was getting all these extraordinary visions and collecting them and putting them into this form. He's sharing it with us. Right? This is revelation in his heart. Extraordinary gift that he's giving us. So, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Satchidanandan, Jaya Jaya Nityananda Janava Jivan. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Shachi. All glories to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the life of Sri Janava. Jaya Jaya Navadwipa Dhama Mahatmya, Jatta Kali Juge Hoila Gora Avatar. All glories to Sri Navadwipa Dham, the essence of all other holy abodes. Sri Gaura Hari descended here in Kali Yuga. Sri Nityananda Prabhu told Sri Jiva Gosvami, this Sri Navadwipa Dham, which extends over 16 kroshas, 32 miles, is certainly non-different from Sri Vrindavan. I got my kroshas and miles mixed up. Okay, non-different from Sri Vrindavan. Extends over 32 miles, 16 kroshas. In this 16 kosha area, there are 9 dvipas or islands. Just like an 8-petaled lotus flower floats on the water, this Navadvipa is also like a lotus flower with 8 petals, which are the 8 islands. Antardwipa is in the middle, and like a dot at the very center of this Antardwipa lies Mayapura. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eternally performs various kinds of pastimes in the spherical form of Mayapur Yog Pit. The diameter of Mayapur Yog Pit is 2,000 meters, and the circumference is 3,000, right? Okay. Even though there are several places situated within Sridham Navadvipa, this Yog Pit is the most glorious of them all, because the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar, and Srivas are splendidly situated there. Right, because when we go to this area, when we go to the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, then just beyond that, you go up the road to the right, there are all these small little temples, little small mandaps, right? And called Gadadhar Anga and Advaita Bhavan, right? And these were where the houses, Advaita had a place in Shantipur, but he also had a place there. And Srivas's place a little bit further, but they all lived within very short walking distance of each other. Nityananda, of course, didn't have his own place, but he was staying with Srivas. So Nityananda, Srivas, Advaita, and Gadadhar, all in that same area. Right. Very soon, by the desire of Mahaprabhu, this place will, by itself, become hidden by the water of the Bhagirati. Right, in the Jiva Dharma, this same thing is being told. Jiva Dharma, I think, was about 80 years after the appearance of Mahaprabhu. It appeared. Brajnath's grandmother, very elderly grandmother, saw Mahaprabhu when he was older, when she was a little girl, and her relatives fed him shak, right? So she was in her 80s or 90s, and it was being described then that very soon all of that area would be covered. And they were living in the then town of Navadvipa, And many different places are described along that side of the bank, but then the Ganga covered everything. And everybody moved over to the other side. And the town of Navadwipa is now on that side. But the appearance place is there. And actually, when you think about it, that's a good thing. Because even though the town was wiped out, it cleared the area and made it all farmland, so that when it was rediscovered by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there were no impediments to making beautiful temples all up and down that road. Otherwise, it would have been just covered with residences. Like Vrindavan, it's very hard to get the sense of Vrindavan as it was during Krishna's time, because it's like a city, right? But on that side, on the Mayapur side, it's well, of course, more and more is being built up, but still, it's predominated by temples, right? And there are still vast tracts of farmland, right? Even ISKCON, which has so much built up for the benefit of visitors, still has lots and lots of open land for farming and things, so that character is maintained. So it will become hidden when sometime later Mahaprabhu's desire to manifest the Dham again becomes strong. This radiant Dham will be revealed. Nityananda was predicting what happened when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, having been given that order to reveal that by Lord Shiva himself, took up that task and revealed it and acquired some land and established the first temple there under the oversight of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. The eternal Dham can never be lost by time. Rather, sometimes it remains in a hidden form, and sometimes it is manifest. My Lord is eternally residing in Mayapur, which is situated on the eastern bank of Bhagirathi Ganga. Right, it is the eastern bank. If you look over the Ganga from the Koladweep side that we're on, the sun rises there, right, across that side. Although from a mundane point of view, Vishrambar, Mahaprabhu, takes sannyas and leaves Navadwip to wander through many different places, nevertheless, my Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu never leaves the village of Mayapur in Navadwip Dham to go elsewhere. Just like Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan, but he may be manifest or aprakat, unmanifest, but he's always there. And Mahaprabhu never leaves, and he tells, through Damodar Pandit, he sends a message to Mother Shachi, Mother, you think I've left, and every day you cook for me, and sometimes you see that it's not there anymore. And sometimes you see me sitting down to eat, and you wonder, did you cook, did you not? Are you in illusion? Did you dream all this? You should know that every day I am coming personally to your house and taking the meals that you have cooked for me. And of course, for those who are qualified, they may have spurti and vision of Mahaprabhu performing his pastimes in various places of Sri Navadwip Dham and especially Sri Mayapur, because they're eternally going on. The devotees still behold Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's daily pastimes, the Ashta Kaliya Leela. He has his 8 full daily pastimes also, the schedule and what he does when and what. Right? But his pastimes are the pastimes of a Brahmana. And when he's younger, they take a certain, he's younger, so, and he's and doing scholarly things, right? Taking bath at a certain time. Of course, the scholarly pastimes are nimitic. The eternal pastimes are the pastimes when he had come back and revealed his devotional sentiments. Not even his Yuga avatar pastimes, but his devotional pastimes, showing those. and bathing at a certain time, taking lunch, having kirtan, all these things, right? So, the devotees still behold Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's daily pastimes. O Jiva, in time to come, you will also behold Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's dancing. Surrounding Mayapur in all directions is the radiant Antardwipa, where Brahma obtained Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's darshan. O Jiva, if you want to see all these places, then perform Parikrama in that way. All your desires will be fulfilled. In other words, desire to behold all the pastime places. Right. Lord Brahma did his meditation in Antardwipa in order to beg for extra mercy, right? Because he felt very bad about his pastime of hiding the cowherd boys and the calves. And so he knew that the Lord was going to appear in the Kali Yuga very shortly. And so he did severe austerities in order to get the mercy to appear at that time also. And so he did, and Mahaprabhu appeared before him, and he requested, I want to be with you in your pastimes, but I don't want to be in this form of Brahma, the head of the demigods and the creator of the universe. I want to be in a humble place. And he had prayed also to Prahlad Maharaj that I want your kind of Dishna. So Mahaprabhu blessed him, said, yes, I'll give you facility. You will be born in a Muslim family, but you will have so much attraction to the chanting of the holy name, you will become the Nama Acharya. And he appeared as Haridas Thakur, and Prahlad Maharaj appeared with him in that same form. The two of them appeared and performed the pastimes of Haridas Thakur. Right? So it's called Antardwipa because he also revealed to Lord Brahma the confidential, hidden secrets of his Leela and his teachings, Achintya Beda Tattva, this very high reconciliation of all the various tattvas that had been promoted for all the different schools and sampradayas, attempting to understand the absolute. He gave all this confidential teaching to Lord Brahma. So antar, hidden, internal, right there. So, Jiva, if you want to see all these places, then perform Parikrama. And that way all your desires will be fulfilled. So we are performing Parikrama to the best of our ability in our hearts, praying. Please. I'm sitting, I rearranged my seat so I can look directly at Radha and Krishna and Mahaprabhu so that I can pray, even in my inadequate way, that they fill my dirty heart with, purifying rays of the sun and the moon of Nityananda and Mahaprabhu rising over the horizon of Gauda, giving benediction to all. So, hearing Sri Nityananda Prabhu's words, Sri Jiva, with tear-filled eyes, offered his prostrated obeisance at the Lord's lotus feet and said, O Lord, please bestow mercy upon this insignificant soul and personally take me on Parikrama. So, in your own heart and mind now, follow Sri Jiva's example. Do your prostrated obeisance and pray, O Lord, O Nityananda Prabhu, please bestow mercy upon this insignificant soul and personally take me on Parikrama. Hearing Sri Jiva's prayers, Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, so be it, and revealed his mind. Oh, the mercy of Nityananda. Who can even pretend to measure even a particle of it? Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, today You will take darshan of Mayapur, and tomorrow I will take you to many other places. Saying this, Sri Nityananda Prabhu stood up, and the joyful Sri Jiva Goswami followed him. Right. Guru takes us on Parikrama. We can't do Parikrama. Sri Guru does Parikrama, and he gives us entrance and guidance into this. Right? So in this way, meditating on our Guru, Srila Prabhupada did this. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada actually had been given the order by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to spread the glories of Sridham Mayapur throughout the world. And he said the way to do this is by the publication and distribution of granthas, of transcendental literature. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us the mercy of understanding and entering into this and understanding Sridham Mayapur by transcendental literature. This is his gift to us, that by reading this, we can develop attachment and meditate and enter into this beautiful Sridham Mayapur. So, and Jiva Goswami is following him. And from Jiva Goswami came Narottam, Srinivas, Shamananda, taking the books of Jiva Goswami and the other Goswamis to Keturi on the request of Janava Devi, and all this was disseminated and explained all through Bengal. And then over the generations, all of this literature being made available. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur ordering Srila Saraswati Prabhupada, now, create a press, do this in a grand way. And from him, all of his disciples taking this up. And our Srila Prabhupada taking it up and breaking down the barriers, the dam to the world outside of India. And spreading the glories. And he also took his disciples to Sridham Mayapur. And I remember when I went in 76, and there was even an eclipse that night on Gaur Purnima. There's going to be a giant lunar eclipse on one day. I don't know if it's the actual Purnima here. It's on the 14th or 13th, but at any rate. So again, some consolation that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, yes, I give you the benediction that you read and hear about Sridham Mayapur. This will instill this greed and give you the benefit of Sridham Mayapur in your heart. So, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, overwhelmed in devotional ecstasy, walked slowly, and his divine body was intoxicated with prema for Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The Lord's enchanting form was swaying with transcendental emotions, and the ornaments that adorned his entire body were coruscating radiantly. I don't know what that word means. Even in their meditation, Brahma, Shiva, and others cannot obtain those lotus feet which are now walking ahead of Sri Jiva Goswami, bestowing mercy upon him. And Jiva Goswami is walking, and all of our Guru Parampara are walking behind, and we are following them eagerly, calling, weeping, right? Krishna, Krishna, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They entered Sri Jagannath Mishra's house, and Sri Nityananda Prabhu made a submission at Sri Shachi Mata's lotus feet. O Mother, this supremely intelligent Jiva, who is a dear servant of Sri Gauranga, is very fortunate. So now they've come to the Yog Pit. Now there is a beautiful temple at this Yog Pit, a beautiful compound. So many things are there, including a banyan tree, which is the same site where the Lord was born, and many little different mandaps and temples there. They're there. Mother Shachi and Vishnu Priya are still living there. And so this supremely intelligent Jiva, who is a dear servant of Sri Gauranga, is very fortunate. Nityananda is introducing Jiva, who also represents us, right? When that desire to serve Mahaprabhu has awakened, that is the blooming of the good fortune of all of the Jiva in whom that is awakened. And so we're obviously not on the level of Sri Jiva Goswami, but nevertheless, the lotus of good fortune has awakened in our heart, right? What is it? Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadav Agni Nirvapanam, right? Then Shreya Kairava Chandrikavitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam, the lotus of good fortune, right? Which blooms when the moon rises and shines its benefic rays, and then bestows transcendental knowledge into the heart of that eager and humble and submissive soul. And that's us. That's certainly us. We're so fortunate. So, he's introducing him, Jiva, to Mother Shachi. We're being introduced also to Mother Shachi. Upon hearing these words of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Jiva fainted, falling to the ground like a tree uprooted by a great storm. Sri Jiva fell at Sri Mata's feet and rolled on the ground. Various ecstatic symptoms manifested in his body in competition with each other. Imagine if we going to these places when we're at the joke pit, if we would feel like that, rolling on the ground, right? Ecstatic emotions. But we're hearing about it, and doesn't a little greed for that enter your heart? If it does, you're very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. Mother Shachi mercifully blessed Sri Jiva. That day, they all took prasad in that very house. Sri Vishnu Priya Devi prepared rice, vegetables, and many other kinds of dishes on the order of Mother Shachi. After some time, Sri Vamsivadananda Prabhu offered the preparations with great attention to Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Ishan Thakur arranged a sitting place and with an extremely joyful heart served prasad to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Right, these two, Vamsivadananda and Ishan Thakur, had stayed in Navadwipa and were serving Mahaprabhu by taking care of his mother and his young wife. Right. So much affection they had. What a position to serve them. Filled with motherly affection, Sri Shachi Devi told Sri Nityananda Prabhu, "Finally, my son, you are at your mother's house. Now eat with great joy. I have secretly offered this prasad to Gaurachandra, so if you also affectionately accept it, I will become most happy at heart." There are many beautiful descriptions in the Chaitanya Bhagavat when Nityananda and Nimai were both together in Navadwipa before he had left, how they would sit together and eat at the house of Mother Shachi, Nimai's house, and she would serve them. And she had many extraordinary darshans of them, sometimes, and dreams, seeing them even as Krishna and Balaram at times. And she always felt that Nityananda was also her son. Just like Mother Jashoda did not distinguish, she felt Baladev was also her son, right? So Mother Shachi had those same feelings. So hearing the words of Mother Shachi, Sri Nityananda Prabhu blissfully accepted the prasad, and Sri Jiva Goswami received his remnants. Right? And Nityananda, of course, reciprocates in that same way. So much affection for Mother Shachi. And of course, being there also soothed her separation. Just like when Baladev went to Vrindavan on the request of Krishna to soothe the hearts of the Brajbasis, he did. They were calmed somewhat by his presence. After eating, Sri Nityananda Prabhu paid his obeisance at Mother Shachi's feet and begged her permission to leave. As Sri Nityananda Prabhu was leaving, he took Vamsi Vadanandana with him. Sri Jiva offered obeisance at the feet of Sri Vamsi Vadanandana Prabhu. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, Jiva, all devotees know this Vamsi Vadanandana to be an incarnation of Sri Krishna's dear flute. By his mercy, the jivas become attracted to Sri Krishna and become eager to enter Maharas. What extraordinary service, yes? The flute, the sound of the flute attracts the hearts of anyone who hears it. Not just in a general way, but he's saying to actually enter Maharas. So many stories of the effect of Krishna's flute in Vrindavan. How the rocks, the non-moving living entities begin to move, melt, and the moving living entities become stilled and stunned. And Vamsi Vadanandana, what does that mean? That just as in the role of the flute, he attracted the minds and hearts to enter into Maharas as a servant of Mahaprabhu, and his, in this way, he's attracting them, especially now in Navadwipa with this Audarya mood. He's giving this great love that Mahaprabhu wanted to give, this confidential teaching that we were hearing about in the last many days, right? Unnata Ujjvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, the confidential service in the mood of conjugal love, especially serving Srimati Radhika, exciting and satisfying Krishna in that way. Right? Manjari Bhav, assistance of Radhika. So, look here. This is Jagannath Mishra's temple. Daily, in a steadfast manner, he would sit here to worship Lord Vishnu. Just see this house where he used to serve guests. Also take darshan of this platform where he worshipped Tulsi. As long as Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the maintainer of the devotees, remained at home, he used to follow the behavior shown by his father. Now Ishan Thakur performs all these duties under the guidance of Sri Vamsi Vadanandana Prabhu. At this place there was a great neem tree which disappeared by Mahaprabhu's touch. When Nityananda Prabhu described these places, he was crying. In the same way, Sri Jiva and Sri Vamsi Vadanandana were also crying. So they're in the Jog pit, they're seeing these places, and what? Udipan. All these places where Mahaprabhu performed pastimes are stimulating the hearts of these devotees. The Ashraya Tattva, the abodes of love, and their moods of love toward the Vishaya Tattva are overwhelming their hearts, and they're weeping and crying. And what are they experiencing? Anubhavs, Sattvika bhavs, Vyabhichari bhavs, all the components of ras are there. Right? So internally, their sthayi bhav, their particular mood of service, is stimulated in all these ways. So Sri Jiva began to roll in the dust. Oh wait. Meanwhile, Srivas Pandit arrived there. And together the four of them left Jagannath Mishra's house and walked towards Srivas Angan. Srivas Angan is situated 200 meters north of the Jog pit. It's a short walk. Sri Nityananda Prabhu blissfully showed Srivas Angan to Sri Jiva. And we also go there. Very beautiful, big place there, right? I posted some pictures. Oh, Can't see this on this lecture, but on our Discord page, we have pictures of all these places from the Navadwipa Parikrama book, compiled and published by Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. So, Sri Jiva began to roll in the dust of Srivas Angan, and the remembrance of Mahaprabhu's many pastimes came all at once. Jiva became so moved by prema that the symptoms of prema in his body appeared to compete with each other. Okay, this is also described when the symptoms of love become brightly burning and blazing in the heart. All the symptoms well up at once. The internal sattvika bhavs manifesting externally as anubhavs. All those symptoms, being stunned, right? Horripilation, tears, perspiration, roaring, laughing, rolling on the ground, overcome by prema. Why? For someone like this, just being at these places, the Dham stimulates this to such a degree. And he's remembering the pastimes of Srivasanga. And just like when we go, we remember those pastimes. This is the place where Mahaprabhu first revealed himself as a devotee, right? And did extraordinary kirtans there. Showed himself as the Lord, worshipped in different moods by different devotees, showed himself as different incarnations. They had so many different confidential kirtans there, so many pastimes at Srivasanga. Right? The Vyasa Puja ceremony, we read about them in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So going to these places, so much remembrance. Okay, so even if we can't remember, just being touched by the dust of these places, so much purification, so many sanskaras are imprinted in the heart. So try to meditate deeply and remember this and think, Srivasangam, please bless me. Nityananda Prabhu, served by Malini Devi, the wife of Srivas, right? Little Narayani, the niece of Srivas, the first one to be shown and infused with prema publicly by Mahaprabhu, right? His mother-in-law, right, hiding, trying to get the benediction, and being kicked out for a time, but then later Mahaprabhu telling, Srivas, not only you, not only your family, but even your servants, even the animals in your house become blessed with this prema because of you. Because of you. Srivasu's devotion was so deep that even when his son died, he didn't want the women to cry and disturb the kirtan that Mahaprabhu was experiencing. And then Mahaprabhu, detecting the unhappiness, stopped, brought the son back to life, spoke to him, and then the son revealed so much profound philosophical truth, and then said, now by your mercy, I am going to the next pastime to be with you in another way. And then he left again, and everybody was happy and satisfied. I mean, you could just sit here and recount unlimited numbers of pastimes, the prayers of the devotees who were there. So much. So, Srivasangam, then, just as Sri Jiva was getting up from the ground, he saw an astonishing sight. Sriman Mahaprabhu was dancing with his intimate devotees. Remember, it's at the same place that Brajanath and Vijay Kumar also took instruction from Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj and also had darshan of Mahaprabhu and his associates, Mother Shachi and others. Balabhanandana, Balabha is the name of Jiva Goswami's father, Balabha Anupam. So Jiva Goswami beheld that Mahasankirtan and the extraordinary dancing of Sriman Mahaprabhu, who was radiantly situated in the midst of all the devotees. Sri Advaita Acharya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu were dancing, and Sri Gadadhar Pandit and Sri Haridas Thakur were dancing and also singing. Sri Shuklambar and hundreds of other devotees were dancing. Seeing all this, Sri Jiva was overwhelmed by prema and fell unconscious. Sri Shukambhara was a very confidential devotee. In fact, the day that Mahaprabhu came back from Gaya, he stopped briefly at Sri Vasangan to reveal his heart and said, tomorrow, collect some of the most confidential devotees, come to Shukambhara's house, and I will explain everything to you there. And there he began to relate the Bhagavatam verses. Also, that's when Gadadhar Pandit was listening and so happy to see this transformation. And then that's when his special instruction to Mahaprabhu began, that Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami explains to help him taste the moods of Srimati Radhika, as only Gadadhar Pandit could explain, because he is Srimati Radhika. And Shuklambar was also instructed to cook for the Lord one time, even though he felt, I don't know anything about cooking, but he did for the pleasure of the Lord and for everyone. And so now the vision has disappeared, and Sri Jiva returned to consciousness. Now nothing was pleasing to him. He continuously wept and said, alas, alas, why did I not take birth earlier? Alas, alas, it is not my fortune to obtain the bliss of Sriman Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan in the group of his intimate devotees. Sri Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is boundless and unlimited. Today, through the strength of his mercy, I became fortunate to have a momentary darshan of this pastime. My desire is that I may reside in this Mayapur forever, because if so, my entanglement in the illusory energy will be removed completely. He desired to be there. Saraswati Prabhupada also lived there, right? All of our acharyas have been in Mayapur, and yet, like Jiva, they were told to leave and spread the mercy of Sri Navadwipa Dhama everywhere. So we can take some small solace in knowing that Navadwipa Dhama is reaching out to us, right? That it's not limited by material consideration. And by hearing these pastimes, remembering them, praying to Navadwipa Dhama, we can also get so much mercy. Even though the thought of leaving Mayapur is making my heart palpitate, nevertheless, the Master's order is more powerful than the servant's desire. Jiva is saying this. Because he knew he was going to go to Vrindavan, and also he's going to be instructed to stop first at Varanasi, Kashi, and take instruction from Madhusudan Vachaspati to prepare him for his mission of serving Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Gopal Bhatta, and the others, and then writing and being the leader of all the Vaishnavas after their disappearance. Sri Nityananda Prabhu then took Sri Jiva to Sri Advaita Acharya's house, which is situated 20 meters north of Sri Vasangan. Just a little field area, a very small area. We go to that place, offer obeisance on the small little veranda right in front of the very small little mandap. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, Jiva, see the residence of Sitanath, Sri Advaita. Here the Vaishnavas are always meeting. Right. Sitanath used to sit here and worship Lord Sri Krishna. By loudly calling out to him, Sitanath brought my only treasure, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, to this earth. Because he sometimes lived in Shantipur and sometimes there. But while he was there, remember, he was teaching Vishwarup. He had a school. Vishwarup attended, became his best student. Little Nimai would visit and call his brother to lunch, which is just 220 meters away, right? Down to the Yog Pit, just a short walk. And he would hear the lamentation of the Vaishnavas as they were tormented and threatened by the atheists for their kirtan and for their worship. And then he decided, I have to call the Lord. And every day he would do that worship with Ganga and Tulsi leaves, calling out. And ultimately, Mahaprabhu revealed to him, your calling to me shook my throne in Vaikuntha, and I had to come down. Oh, Nada, don't you recognize me now? Because he didn't, by the beautiful influence of Yogamaya, he could not recognize. No one could recognize Nimai to be their Lord of Lords until it was time to reveal himself. So, after rolling in the dust of that place, the four of them went to Sri Gadadhar Bhavan, which was 10 meters east of Advaita Bhavan, right in that same area. And Gadadhar would also visit Nimai regularly, and when Nimai was experiencing his extraordinary symptoms of Mahabhav, which appeared to be like a disease of the life airs, Gadadhar would come and hold him and console him and whisper in his ear and make him peaceful. And Mother Shachi had so much affection for Gadadhar because Gadadhar was the only one that could soothe him. And he was a year younger and very devoted, always very submissive to Nimai. But how was he soothing him? What were these symptoms? It's described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat that when he had these symptoms of madness, which looked like some terrible epileptic disease of the life airs, he was internally experiencing the highest degree of Mahabhav, Srimati Radhika's own emotions in separation, the madness of the highest separation. And Gadadhar would hold him and whisper in his ear Krishna's name, soothe him, pacify him, as Radhika's friends would do for her. Right? So Gadadhar was assisting. Right? This is the speciality of Gadadhar Pandit, renouncing the role of beloved, right? Offering that role in the mood of the beloved to her own Krishna so he could experience it, and then being in his very presence, not being able to exchange in that way, but to assist him in tasting that mood. Extraordinary high service, giving up her role, at least in relationship with Mahaprabhu, to assist him, because Radhika's pleasure is based on Krishna's desire and pleasure. There's no lack, there's no giving up. It's just that her pleasure is refining and assisting Krishna in his tasting, right? But by that, Krishna's reciprocation gives her the highest taste and pleasure as well, and joy. And when Krishna sees her in that joyful state, then he becomes even more joyful, and she, knowing that she's given him so much pleasure, she becomes even more joyful. Her joy is even greater than his, which is why he wanted to taste and become like her. And Gadadhar Pandit is Radhika teaching and assisting Krishna to experience that. And this is where he lived, this young, beautiful Brahmin boy, Gadadhar Pandit. After rolling in the dust of that place, the four of them went to, Gadadhar Bhavan. From there, Sri Nityananda Prabhu showed Sri Jiva the residences of all of Mahaprabhu's other associates. After visiting the houses of the Brahmanas, those four personalities blissfully proceeded towards the bank of the Ganga. And then they had the darshan of the temple of Vrita Shiva, situated on the bank of the Ganga on the border of Mayapur. Oh, okay. Now, it's been about an hour. I mean, I could go on. I don't know what this is going to do for this recorded class. It doesn't matter. People want to watch it or not. I don't think anybody watches it. But it's auspicious for me to I get great benefit by having the opportunity to speak this. It's such a fortune, such a gift. And that hopefully by the speaking, something will come into the heart. So I'm going to go on because from here, maybe they'll go to Chandkazi. That's part of this whole thing. And that's what the Parikrama party does. So I'm just going to continue to read on. If you can stay, you can stay. And if you can't, I understand, no problem. So, Sri Jiva then had darshan of the temple of Vrita Shiva, situated on the bank of the Ganga on the border of Mayapur. Now that Vrita Shiva is not there anymore, they moved. Sri Nityananda Prabhu said, O Jiva, this Vrita Shiva is the area protector, the Ketrapal of Mayapur. This is where Prodamaya Shakti, Yogamaya, eternally resides. Vrita means very old or original, right? Prodamaya is Yogamaya. Just the Yogamaya in Vrindavan oversees all of the pastimes, the Leela of Radha and Krishna and the inhabitants there. And the Leela is that which determines how love is tasted. Through very beautiful pastimes, all varieties of love are expressed, exchanged, and tasted. And so the Leela and the pastimes of Mahaprabhu are overseen and arranged by Prodamaya, Yogamaya. And Vrita Shiva, just like in Vrindavan, he protects the different forests and has many pastime places of his own, many deities. He's also there. Now they're on the other side. In town, under that giant banyan tree, there's that special temple. But originally it was there, very nearby. And Nityananda says that after Sriman Mahaprabhu's disappearance, the Ganga will rise by his desire and cover almost all of Mayapur with her waters. 100 years after that, she will again manifest Mayapur. At that time, only the land of Mayapur will manifest. No houses will remain. Thus, that place will remain uninhabited for a long time. Again, when Sriman Mahaprabhu strongly desires, people will reside in Mayapur as before. All these ghats will again be manifest on the bank of the Ganga, and many devotees will come together to construct a huge temple of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Just a minute. Oh my God. I'm getting a cramp in my leg. I'm supposed to give a class. Okay, now I'm standing up. Listen to this. Again, when Sriman Mahaprabhu strongly desires, people will reside in Mayapur as before. All these ghats will again be manifest on the bank of the Ganga, and many devotees will come together to construct a huge temple for Sriman Mahaprabhu. One amazing temple will manifest here, where in the daily worship of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu will constantly increase. So, this was predicted by Nityananda Prabhu, revealed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He had the vision, actually, and we're seeing that manifest to this day. This does not minimize the creation of these other temples, but the huge, gigantic temple is that which is going to draw people from all over the world to come there. Because people in general, they love opulent worship. The Vatican, right, in Rome, is one of the most visited places in the world. That, all religions, they want to have a very beautiful place that inspires reverence and worship in the hearts of innocent people. And so this was the vision of our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, which obviously had been imparted to him through his guru and his, very special associates. And now it's manifesting in an extraordinary way. But listen to this. Proto-Maya, Yogamaya, and Vritashiv will return here and again serve the Dham according to Mahaprabhu's wish. So we don't know how things are going to unfold step by step. But hearing this, Sri Jiva took hold of Sri Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet with both his hands and said, "Oh Prabhu, you were the cause of the manifestation of Anantadev, Anantashesh. Your plenary portion," Anantadev is his plenary portion, "you expand yourself as the holy abode and the holy name, and you are the shelter of the Supreme Lord's many forms." So here, Jiva is acknowledging the extraordinary identity of Nityananda Prabhu and the services that he performs, right? As Anantashesh, who holds up all the planetary systems and all the universes, and is the bed of the Lord, unlimited, and the glorifier. You are the Dham, as the personification of the Sandhini Shakti. He manifests the Dham in all its variety. You are the holy name, right? You are non-different. You yourself. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nityamukto Binat Van Nama Namino. Krishna and his name are non-different. Baladev is non-different from Sri Krishna, his first expansion, non-different than the holy name. And you are the shelter of the Supreme Lord's many forms. He is the origin of all the incarnations. And Jiva Goswami is citing that. Although you perform your activities according to Sriman Mahaprabhu's desire, nevertheless, you are the spiritual master of all living entities and all potencies. Yes, Akhanda Guru Tattva Nityananda Prabhu, the embodiment, the representation of Guru Tattva, teacher for all of us. Right? That person who differentiates between you and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu is called a Pashandi, or heretic, by the wise. He is Mahaprabhu's expansion for the purpose of teaching. Mahaprabhu obviously incarnated at the time as Yuga Avatar, but we heard yesterday and a few days before, he came to, his real reason was to taste the deep internal moods of devotion experienced by Srimati Radhika, and by extension her gopis. Right? But he also came to deliver all living entities, so his first expansion as Nityananda fulfills that task for him. Mahaprabhu also did, when he was traveling and going here and there. But even that is not directly Mahaprabhu himself. Just as we have different forms of Krishna in Vrindavan, he never takes a step out of Vrindavan, but he expands himself into Vasudeva Krishna to go to Mathura and Dwarka. All right? And that Vasudeva Krishna is an expansion of whom? Of Baladev. And from that, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, come the secondary Chaturvyuha in Vaikuntha, and from them come the Mahavishnu, and we heard all this. So Nityananda Prabhu is that ultimate servant of Mahaprabhu. All service is performed by Nityananda Prabhu, by Guru. Right? So, you are omniscient and have descended to perform pastimes. Yet there is a doubt in my heart. When the Ganga covers Mayapur, where will Shiva, Vritashiv, and his energy, Proto-Maya, go? O Lord, please explain this to me. Sri Nityananda Prabhu answered, O Jiva, listen to my words. On the high land, that can be seen on the western bank across, there is a hillock named Paradanga, and there is a village of Brahmanas on it. North of that is the bank of the river Jahnavi. Learned persons call this place Chinadenga. A town will be founded on this bank, and Shiva and his Shakti will reside there for some time. Who is able to describe the glory of this bank? The place of Rasastali, is splendidly situated here on the Jahnavis, on the Ganga's bank. So that, on the other side, that island, the places of Vrindavan are also in Navadwipa, but they're in a different order. So one of the primary Rasastalis is in that area in the present town of Navadwipa, near where Prodamaya and Vidashiva are. Although to materialize it appears to be an ordinary sandy place, in reality it is the eternal Dham made of jewels, where transcendental pastimes are always taking place. Mayapur is Sri Gokul Mahavan, and Paradanga is said to be Shatikar or Chatikar. Here is the Rasamandala of Vrindavan. In the future, loud Sankirtan will take place here. Oh, so now we're back to Mayapur. Mayapur is Sri Gokul Mahavan, and Paradanga is said to be Shatikara. So in the future, yes, loud Sankirtan, certainly loud Sankirtan, is taking place all over Mayapur. Between Mayapur and Sri Polina flows the river Bhagirathi. O greatly learned one, understand that all these places are within Gora Dham. Any person who performs Parikrama of this Dham, which measures 5 koshas, attains the darshan of Mayapur and Sri Pulina. So we're performing Parikrama, and if you've done it physically before also, this is the benefit. That person who on the day of Palgun Purnim, Gaur Purnim, circumambulates these 5 koshas along with devotees will receive the eternal treasure of Krishna Prem. Not possible to do that anymore, because if you go out on Gaur Purnima, you'll get coated in chemicals. They do this holy thing, but it's not like the pleasant holy of times past, where you'd be covered with pollen from flowers or lightly vegetable-dyed rice powder. Now it's a whole different thing. So, O Jiva, listen to a confidential topic of mine. Sri Vishnu Priya Devi worships a deity of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. In the future, Brahmanas descending from the family of Sri Jagannath Mishra will take this deity to Shatikar. When, after the appearance of Sriman Mahaprabhu, 400 years have passed, this deity will be worshipped at the highest standard. Right, that deity, can go see that deity. Keep all these topics hidden for now and blissfully perform Parikrama. So the standard, the awakening of worship, once Srila Prabhupada established his temple, his godbrothers also began building temples, and all the little temples and small places all over Navadwipa and the islands, everything is coming up. Everything is coming up. Standard of worship everywhere. O best of the learned, see, there is Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's ghat, 6 meters north of this Vidashiva ghat. And here, Sri Gaurhari, on the pretense of performing childhood pastimes, played in the Ganga to his heart's content. This is where he teased Brahmanas, stole their items of worship, would mix up their clothes, eat their offerings, dive in the water, and while they're doing their mantras, meditating on the Lord, he would rise and from the water of his own mouth, give them divine abhishek, They couldn't understand any of it. When they tried to catch him, he'd swim away. He would tease the young girls, tell them they should all marry him. So many pastimes would go on. On the pretext of complaining, they would share these with Mother Shachi and Jagannath Mishra to give them pleasure. Jagannath Mishra would threaten to punish his child. So many splendid pastimes are going on there. And why? Because in the past, seeing Jamuna's fortune of beholding Krishna's pastimes, the Ganga Himadri Nandini performed severe austerities to take part in Sriman Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Lord Sri Krishna bestowed his mercy upon her, Ganga Devi, and gave her his darshan. He said, as Sri Gaurasundar, I will sport in your waters. The Lord of the three worlds, Sriman Mahaprabhu, performed pastimes here to fulfill Ganga's desire. Fortunate living entities receive much happiness seeing these pastimes. And everyone calls this Ghat Madhai Ghat. This is where Madhai, after being purified in order to continue penance and serve the Vaishnavas, Dhamvasis, he created that mat for their pleasure and kept it clean. Right? And this Ghat attracts the minds of all persons in the town and is also called Nagariya Ghat. Vishwakarma constructed this Ghat on the order of Sriman Mahaprabhu. So, and then there are 5 Shiva temples. He's going on and on. And then he says, the area east of Mayapur is known by everyone as Antardwipa. Now, according to Sriman Mahaprabhu's supreme will, no one is residing in this place, and it will remain uninhabited like this for many more days. But by the influence of time, people will again reside here, and this place will manifest as the glory of Nadia. Jiva, today you should stay here in Mayapur, and tomorrow I will take you to Simanta Nagar. I think, okay. I think I'll have to stop here. And we'll continue tomorrow. I was going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read from this. I don't know if I could follow the Parikrama party easily or not, but I could read this section by section, and so much comes up. So I think for the next many days, we're going to follow Jiva Goswami and Nityananda Prabhu on their Parikrama. And it will overlap with the travels of all the different Parikrama parties that we're trying to remember and serve. So I'll stop here my recording. It's pretty long. There we go.